Hello everyone, good morning. Am I audible? Yeah, right. Okay, so let's begin with the session. Okay, so from previous 2 days, from past 2 days here, okay, so we have started with a very important topic, that is Java libraries, and we have seen a few important things under it, right? So I know I shall, a couple of minutes, I shall try to briefly revise it and then get back into the actual topic for today. Okay. So first of all, we kick-started with one of the most important part, that is Java libraries. When I tell Java libraries, I am relating it to all the predefined packages, classes, variables, methods, all those. Libraries means it's already existing, it's already predefined. So you are supposed to know how do we use it here. Got it? So what are Java libraries? Java libraries is a collection of packages. Okay? Predefined packages. Java libraries is a collection of predefined packages, and each package is a collection of classes and interfaces, and each class or interface is a collection of variables and methods here. Clear? And all those Java libraries is present in a zip file called as src.zip, or it is present in a jar file called as rt.jar. SRC stands for source and RT stands for runtime. Okay, and a few important predefined packages are java.lang, java.util, java.io, java.awt, java.applet, java.net here, SQL, blah blah blah. We have thousands of packages, okay? But we have many, not thousands, we have many packages. But yeah, we are supposed to remember a few important packages. Out of which, okay, java.lang package had one speciality. What is that speciality about java.lang package? Sir, java.lang package is automatically imported in all classes and interfaces. We need not explicitly import the java.lang package. Why? Because sir, it's automatically implicitly imported, sir. So that's the reason we are not supposed to explicitly import it. Very good. But what is the speciality about object class then? Object is the supermost class in Java. Why? Every class will have the object as the superclass. Okay, so object is inherited by every class. So it is called the supermost class in Java. And this object class had 11 methods. Correct? What were those? ToString method, hash code method, equals method. Okay. Then wait of long and int. Notify all. Then finalize, clone method, get class method. So totally 11 methods you are supposed to remember here. Okay. ToString method is used to give the string representation of an object. Hash code method is used to give a unique ID for an object here. ToString, string representation. Hash code, integer representation of an object. That is nothing but the unique ID for an object. Clear? And then we also saw what are data types. Primitive data type, non-primitive data type. Correct? And we also saw how do we store objects in an array and traverse it as well. Okay? And we understood the importance of ToString method and hash code method. Clear? So these were the couple of topics which we have covered in previous sessions. So in today's session, we are jumping into a very important topic, slightly tricky, I'm telling you now itself, but very important topic. Okay, for this, inheritance, overriding, upcasting is important. So that's what I told in the previous session, right? Over the weekend, I want you all to go through this specific topics here. So today's session will be very easy for you all to understand. Okay. So what is it all about, sir? Okay, I'll explain it once with practical part here. Okay. I go back to my Eclipse here. Okay. File, below file, we have a new icon. Now I will create a new Java project. See, new Java project. Oh, not required because we have already created a project called Java libraries, right? See, it's still the continuation of it. Okay. So we have seen, now I'll create a package called as, okay, package called as package, and the package name is comparing objects. What is the package name? The package name is comparing objects. Okay. Under that, I will create a class called as student here. Okay, I'll create a class and the class name is student here. Okay, student. Perfect. So now what did you understand? Sir, we had a project called as Java libraries. We had a package called as package comparing objects, and we had a beautiful class called as student here. Correct? So we have a project, package, and a class. So now the class name is student. So every student will have a property called as age. Do you all agree? Correct? No? Every student, when we consider, he will have a some property called as age, and I am initializing that particular age with the help of a constructor. And we know how do we initialize with the help of a constructor as well, right? These are the few topics which are doing it from past 2 days here. Correct? This dot age equals to age. See, long back when I did constructors topic, if you want you can go and watch the recording here, okay, for proof. Okay, I told you here when I spoke about constructors, I told you this particular topic will be very useful for your advanced topic, right? So if you could closely observe here from past 2-3 days here, I am making use of this topic widely. Again, now you know, again when I talk about a collection topics in the future, so this topic will be a prerequisite. So constructors will play a major role. Why? Because it's used for initialization purpose. That's the reason. Okay. So now here student is a class. It has a variable called as age, and I'm initializing that age with the help of a constructor. Yes, sir, we understood it completely. Now here, I will have my main method wherein the execution will always begin from. Okay, I'll have my main method wherein the execution will always begin from. Now here I'll maximize the screen, Control M. Now I will create a couple of student objects. Student S1 equals to new student of, and the student age is 20. Okay, student 1 is age is 20, and I'll create one more student object, student S2 equals to new student of, and the age is 22. So there are two students, and their respective age is 20 and 22 respectively. You know, the students age are 20 and 22 respectively. Okay, and now here, okay, sys out, okay, I'll tell S1 equal to S2. So this is comparison operator, double equals. Now tell me what will be the output here? What will be the output here? Sir, when I tell S1 equal to S2, internally the object addresses are getting compared. Okay, the hash code is getting compared. Therefore, now when I execute it over here, look at the output what I get. I get it as false here. Sir, how is it false, sir? How is it false, sir? I will tell you here. Okay, wait a moment for it. Okay, so I will tell you it's false. Sir, how did we get it as false, sir? Okay, I will tell you here. Okay, see here, go back. How many student objects do I have? Sir, I have two student objects, sir. Very good. Okay, I have two student objects here. Okay, so this is S1 is pointing to some address 0x1, and S2 is pointing to some address 0x2, and the hash code of S1 is 111 and S2 is 222. Hash code is nothing but unique ID for an object, hash code, and toString is the string representation of an object. So the age of student 1 is 20, okay, and the age of student 2 is 22. Clear? Understood, right? So there are two student objects, S1 and S2, and S1 is pointing to the address 0x1 wherein the age is initialized to 20. S2 is pointing to the address 0x2 wherein the age is initialized to 22, and the respective hash code is 111 and 222. So now when I tell S1 equal to S2 here, internally the addresses will get compared. That is nothing but 0x1 equal to 0x2. Is it true? No. So therefore it is false here. Even if you compare the hash code, it is always different. Don't you think so? See, it is false here. So therefore, I will always get the output as false. Why? Because two student objects, two different addresses, two different hash codes here. So it's always false here. Clear? But now similarly, okay, this student is inheriting the object class. This student is inheriting the object class. Therefore, all the 11 methods from the object class is inherited into student. and it also has a method called as equals, correct? Now what I'll do, I will tell s1 dot equals s2. So I am comparing two objects with the help of equals method. S1 dot equals S2 meaning student 1 object is getting compared with student 2 object. Two students are getting compared with each other. Now what should be the output as of now? What should be the output as of now? True or false here? Now again, okay, now again when I execute the program here, I will get the output as false only. I will get the output as what? False only. So what did you understand? Okay, sir, we are getting false only, right? When I make use of double equals, or when I tell s1 dot equals s2, internally what is happening? The addresses or the hash code is getting compared, wherein always the addresses and the hash code are different, so I'll get the output as false here. So in simple English here, even double equals and equals method will check for addresses internally, the hash codes internally, wherein these are two different objects here. Obviously, I'll get the output as false here. So, okay, sir, we understood this, sir. Okay, by default here, they are returning false. But now what are we supposed to do, sir? I have to, okay, write a logic in such a way wherein I will compare the age of two students here. Okay, I have to write a logic in such a way I have to compare the logic of two students here, two students' age here. Therefore, I have to override the equals method. Okay, so for overriding the equals method, the syntax is okay. For overriding the equals method, what is the syntax? Public is the access specifier so that it can it can be accessed by everyone. Boolean is the return type. Why? Because equals method will return either true or false. Equals is the method name, and this is accepting an object of obj only. I mean, it is accepting a object, I mean argument of type obj only. Okay, and then open curly braces and close curly braces, and this is an overridden method. Why? Because I'm trying to override. So now over here, this is object obj. Why is it object obj, sir? Since it is of type object here, I can pass any type of object here. Got it? So that's the reason here it is of type object here. Now what I'll do, I will tell s1 dot equals, okay, I'll tell what? s1 dot equals s2 here. Okay, so I am comparing couple of objects here. See, s1 meaning s1 object is getting compared with s2 object. So I am calling the equals method. Who is calling the equals method? S1 object is calling the equals method by passing the s2 object. So this s2 object is getting stored into obj here. S2 object is getting stored into obj. This is nothing but upcasting. Sir, how, sir? Is it upcasting, sir? How, sir? I will show it to you now. See here. So now, guys, common sense you need to apply. If I have a method called as display, okay, if I have a method called as display, open parenthesis close, open curly braces close. Okay, I am calling the display method. I am calling the display method. Open parenthesis, okay, and close parenthesis. And I have a couple of methods here. Display. Okay. Now here, if I am passing an object of student, new student of, if I'm passing an object of student over here, yes should be of type student. This is specialization. Why? New student object is getting stored into reference S, which is of type student only. If I am passing an, okay, if I am passing an employee object, okay, if I'm passing an employee object, so here it should be of S type and the reference type should be employee here. So this is nothing but specialization. See here, if it is student S, I can pass only student object. If it is employee S, I can pass only employee object. This is specialization here. Okay. But now, to make it a generic type, okay, to make it a generic type here, I will write the reference type as object obj. I will write it as object obj. Sir, what will happen when you write object obj, sir? Hey, apply common sense. No, see, display method, display method. Okay. So now here, even if I pass new student object, okay, even if I pass new employee object, it will work fine. Why? Sir, upcasting, sir. Why? How come? Every class in Java will have the superclass called as object class. Correct? What is upcasting then? Creating an object of subclass and storing its address into a reference which is of type superclass. Since I have created an object of student, there is a student class and student is having the superclass called as object. Again, creating an object of subclass and storing its address into a reference which is of type superclass. Got the clarity? If it is object obj, I can pass any type of objects in entire Java. Student object, employee object, monkey object, donkey object, food object, vehicle object, all the types of objects I can pass here. But if I write it as student S here, only student objects. Employee E here, only employee objects. This is specialization. This is generalization. To one type of reference, I am able to pass different types of objects. Clear? This is upcasting. Got the clarity? Similarly, the equals method. Okay, the equals method is accepting object obj because I can pass student object, employee object, donkey object, monkey object, all the types of objects I can pass here. That's the reason it is object obj. S2 is the student object. Student is having the superclass called as object. Correct? So this is nothing but upcasting. But now when I upcast it, okay, I can access only superclass properties. Therefore, I need to downcast it. Correct. This is upcasting because I can pass any types of object. Now I need to downcast it. So this obj, see, S2 it can be also be referred as obj now. Why? Because it is upcasting. See, S2 is converted to obj, but with the upcasted part. So this obj, which is upcasted, I have to convert it back to student and store it into S here. So now this obj is of type object. I am downcasting it to student S here. Downcasting has to be done explicitly within a cast here. So I'll write it as student here. So this S2 was upcasted to obj and it is downcasted again to S here. Got it? So this is what we are supposed to understand here. Okay. And now since the return type is Boolean, I will return. How do you point to the current object? See, if I am getting compared with some other person, I am the current object. I am getting compared with someone else. So I am the current object. Correct. How do you point to the current object? With the help of this keyword. The current object's age, is it equal to s dot age here? Sir, what is this, sir? Slightly confusing, sir. I told you, no, it's tricky, but it's very easy here. See here, guys. S1 can be referred as 0x1. Do you all agree? S1 can be referred as 0x1, correct? And S2 can be referred as 0x2, correct? S2 can be referred as 0x2. Now when I tell S1 dot equals S2, S1 is getting compared with S2, correct? S1 is calling the equals method by passing S2. So I call the equals method by passing S2. S2 object is getting upcasted to obj. Why? See, since it is object type over here, I can pass any types of object. Student, employee, person, tester, developer, blah blah blah, any type of objects I can pass. Clear? So therefore this S2 got converted to obj. This S2 got converted to obj. So now this S2 can also be referred as obj. But since obj is of type object, it is upcasted. I can access only object class properties. I need to downcast it. So this obj is of type object getting converted to student. So this obj got converted to S here. This got converted to S here. From S2 is 0x2. X2 is, 0x2 is nothing but obj. Obj is nothing but S here. Got it? And now when I tell return, the method is returning something. This means the current object. Which is the current object? S1 is calling the S2 method, no? I mean S2 object, right? So therefore, this can also be referred as this here. When I tell this dot age, this means 0x1, 0x means S1. S1 dot age, what is S1 dot age? 20 equal to S dot age. What is S? S is nothing but obj, obj is nothing but 0x2, 0x2 is nothing but S2. What is S2 dot age? It is 22. Is 20 equal to 22? No, it is returning false here. Got it? What if both the student age were same? Student 1 age is also 22, student 2 is also 22. Is 22 equal to 22? Yes, it would have returned true here. Got it? By default, the equals method will internally compare the addresses or the hash code here. But now, if I have to compare the content of both the objects, okay, I have to compare the age of student 1 and compare the age of student 2. I have to override the equals method in such a way it has to first see overriding equals method. First upcast it, then downcast it, and then write the logic for comparison. See, first upcasting, downcasting, write the logic of comparison. Three rules we need to follow here. Upcast, downcast, logic for comparison. That's it. Clear? So now when I go back to my program, see here, I'll give both the student ages same. Student 1 age is also 20. Student 2 age is also 20. So now when I execute it over here, I am getting it as false and false only. Okay. Why? Because this is without overriding compare method. I mean equals method. So I will just write down this entire data over here. I'll copy paste it. Okay. This is an example for overriding without, this is a program for comparing objects without overriding equals method. See, now it is giving false only. Why? Because it is internally comparing the addresses of two objects or the hash code of two objects. Addresses of two objects, hash code of two objects, which is absolutely not same. Therefore, I have to override the equals method in such a way it will compare the content of both the objects. So what is the access specifier of equals? Public is the access specifier. Boolean is the return type. Equals is the method name. Open parenthesis close. Open curly braces close. Is it an overridden method? Yes, it was inherited from the object class and we're trying to override. And equals method, you can pass only student. See, if we pass only student S here, only student type of objects I can compare. What if I come across a scenario wherein I have to compare mobile objects, laptop objects, okay, food objects here? Then it becomes a problem, no? But if I write it as object obj, will it work fine? Yes. Why? Sir, since it is taking object obj here, object since is the supermost class, I can compare any type of objects. Clear? And it is returning some boolean value. Okay, return, I have to return some boolean value. As of now, I'll return just false here. Okay, now here, S1 dot equals S2 meaning S1 is nothing but current object. See, S1 is nothing but the current object. This is this. Okay. Now, after this entire data here, this is nothing but this keyword. And then S2 is nothing but this S2 object. I am passing it to object obj. So this S2 is nothing but obj. Now this S2 student object is getting upcasted to object type reference. This is upcasting. But I need to downcast it. How? Obj, okay, is getting downcasted to student S here. But downcasting has to be done explicitly. See, downcasting done. After that, this obj now can be referred as what? It can be referred as S now. So return what? Current object's age, okay, equal to already, S dot age here, meaning this is nothing but S1, S is nothing but obj, obj is nothing but S2. So now when I execute it over here, look at the output, I get it as true here. Why? Because equals method, the default implementation was to compare the addresses or the hash code. But now I have overridden the equals method in such a way, it will not compare the addresses or the hash code, Rather, it will compare the content of both the objects. I have overwritten the equals method in order to compare the content of the two students, that is their respective age here. This is how we are supposed to understand the content here. Got it? First step, upcasting. Second step, downcasting. And then compare the content here. Got it? See? This is all about the entire process here. It's just that how good we initialize it, understand the process here. Clear? It's a very, very simple topic, guys. You just need to understand upcasting. See, if I have a class called as pen, okay, if I have a class called as pen, don't you think so this pen class is having the object as the superclass here? Correct, no? So what is upcasting? Creating an object of subclass and storing its address into a reference which is of type superclass. So this is nothing but upcasting. See, subclass object, superclass reference. This is upcasting and it's absolutely valid. But this O is of type object. I can access only object class properties. So therefore I need to downcast it. How? This O, which is of type object, I need to convert it back to pen P here, subclass. But now this we have to do it explicitly. So I'll write as pen within parentheses. P is of type pen. I can access both superclass and subclass property. So this is upcasting and this is downcasting. How do you compare the current object? This keyword. That's it. This is all about the entire process here. Got it? So this is how we are supposed to understand the actual content here. Got it? Understood? So can we see one more good example over here? Okay. So now control N. I will create a class called as employee. Okay. So here each and every employee will have ID and each and every employee will have height. Correct? Now I'm just doing it for our understanding. Every employee will have a property called as ID and every employee will have another property called as height and their respective data type is int and double. So now I want to initialize it with the help of a constructor. Alt Shift S, the shortcut key, and generate constructor using fields. So it's asking, do you want to initialize ID? Yes. Do you want to initialize height? Yes. Okay. And what is access specified? Do you want public, protected, or package? Package means default. And do you want to omit the defaults constructor called super? Yes, I check this. When I tell OK, see, automatically the constructor will get generated wherein he is initializing the ID and height here. Now here, you have to apply common sense, pure common sense here. Okay. Now here, I will create two employee objects. See, employee E1 equals to new employee of, and I have to pass the ID of employee 1 here. Okay, employee 1. That is, ID is 101. Okay. So I'll just write the ID as 101. Just a moment. I'll write the ID as 101 and his height is 5.8. Okay, what is his height here? It's his height is 5.8 here. Got it? And then employee E2 equals to new employee of, and his ID is 102 and his height is 5.7. Okay, now so this is all about the entire data here. Now here I want to compare. See, E1 dot equals E2. So which is the current object now? E1. Why? E1 is getting compared with E2. So E1 is the this keyword here. Now when I tell E2 dot equals E1, what does it understand? E2 is the current object. Why? E2 is getting compared with E1. So current object is this. Okay, now. So this is what we are trying to do here. E1 dot equals E2. Now what will be the output? Sir, when I execute it, the output will be false, sir. Why? Because internally, the default implementation of equals method is to compare the addresses or the hash code when it is absolutely different. Why? Because they are two different objects, sir. Obviously, the addresses will be different, the hash code will be different, so therefore it is false only. Even if I give the same content, see, ID is same, okay, ID is same, and the height is also same, okay, height is also same. Even now it will give me false only. Why? Because internally it is comparing the addresses or the a hash code which is absolutely different. But now I want to write a logic in such a way in order to compare the ID and height. So what am I supposed to do? Sir, override the equals method in such a way you can compare whatever logic, I mean whatever attributes you want. Okay. So I will tell public is the access specifier, boolean is the return type, equals is the method name, and now for generalized manner it is accepting object obj. Why object obj? Hey, this is reference. Okay, you can give your name also, my name also. See, object uday. That's possible. You can give any reference name. Okay, and this is an overridden method here. This is an overridden method. Public is the access specifier, boolean is the return type, equals is the method name. And what is the object type of reference it is accepting? Why? Because if it is object, I can pass any type of objects for comparison. Clear? Now when I tell e1 dot equals e2, this e2 is nothing but employee2 object that is getting upcasted to obj now. So what did you understand here? E1 can also be referred as obj now. Okay, this E2 can be also referred as obj now. But obj is of type object, that is upcasting. Okay, now I need to downcast it. So how? Obj will get converted to employee type reference EMP. But now we have to downcast explicitly. Now E2 was converted to obj, which is upcasted. Again it is downcasted to EMP. See, from E2 I upcasted to object and then downcasted to employee again. Got it? So now here, how do you point to the current object? This keyword. This dot, what do you want to compare? The height. I'll tell height here. ID equal to emp dot id here. So I have written a logic in such a way wherein it is comparing only the IDs here. Now when I execute it, it will give me true. Why? Now equals method is giving true here. Why? Because now it is not comparing the addresses or the hash code. Rather it is comparing the ID here. Why? I have overridden the equals method in order to compare the ID here. Is ID equal 101 and 101? Yes. That's the reason it is giving me true here. Got it. But what if I give the employee ID as different? 102 here. See? Now it will be false here. Why? Because IDs are obviously false here. Got it. So now, if I want to compare the height, no, I have to make use of and here, and this dot height equal to emp dot height here. I have to compare ID also, height also. Okay. Now again, I will get the output as false here. Can you tell me why is it false here? Why is it false? Sir, this dot id equal to emp dot id is 101 equal to 102. No, it is false. And operator means both the conditions should be true. Correct. Only if both the operators, I mean conditions are true. So that's the reason I'm getting it as false. What if, okay, I give it as 101 only. So 101 only. It means both ID and height are same here. That's the reason it is comparing true here. So if I give my height is also different here, it doesn't matter. When I execute it, it gives me false. Why? Because the content has to be same here. Got it? So that's the reason here we are supposed to do this. Got it? This is what we are supposed to understand. This can also be done with the help of if condition also. Another way also. How? See? Sys out new employee. Okay, I will pass the ID as 1, height as 5.4. Okay, dot equals, okay, ID is 2. Okay, and ID also 1 and the height is also 5.4. See here, equal, oh, I'm so sorry here, I didn't create an object only. Oh, I'm so sorry. New employee of ID is 1, height is also 5.4. See here, what is happening? The same thing only. I created an object. Okay, I created an object and stored it into E1, and I'm telling E1 I'm passing here. I created an object. Okay, stored it into E2 and I'm passing E2 here. But we can do it directly also. See, creating an object of employee dot equals second employee object. So we can do it directly also, indirectly also. It's simple. How do you eat it? It's not that you are supposed to do it always that way only. or else you can also make use of equals method also, if condition also. How? It's all about your understanding in order to do it here. See, I'll tell if E1 dot equals E2. Okay, I'll write it as, okay, sys out. I'll just write it as contents. Okay, contents are same here. Else, I can just write it as sys out contents are different. Okay, this is all about it. So now here, what is happening over here? See here, now I will give it as 5.87 over here. Here I'll give it as 5.8. See here, E1, E2. So I'm telling if E1 dot equals E2, I am calling the equals method by passing upcasting, downcasting. I'm comparing the ID and height. So it will return true. If true means contents are same here. So when I execute it over here, okay, see here contents are same here. What if I give the different IDs here? Say I'll give it as 102. Now here the output will be contents are different here. See, I got the idea is contents are different here. So that way we are supposed to override the equals method in such a way wherein we are supposed to get the actual comparison of the data here. Got it? So this is how we are supposed to make use of equals method. Got it? So first, why is it accepting object obj? Because I can pass any types of object. See, E2 is employee object and new employee is nothing but what? I'm comparing the objects of employee here. So that becomes upcasting, that becomes downcasting, and the logic for comparison. 3 steps, if you understand, you can override the equals method in a beautiful manner. And I know it's tricky because if you're not sure of upcasting and downcasting, it's going to be tricky. If you know it, probably this topic, if you practice a couple of times here, it would be in your in your subconscious mind always here. You'll never forget it. Okay, so make sure try to practice this entire data here. Clear? So now, guys, any confusion in this entire process here? Any confusions here? Let me know. You want one more example? I'm ready to give it, but make sure you tell me here. Okay, is there any doubts here? Clear now? Perfect now? Right. Okay. Perfect. So now here, okay, this is all about the entire process, guys. Okay. So you have to just be aware of the content here, what is happening and how smart you are in order to decide this part. Okay. So now in an interview process, right? Okay, they are going to, talk about this entire process. See, I have a couple of notes here. See, we have what is Java libraries. Okay, what is lang package, what are the methods in object class, okay, and 3 important methods. What are those? ToString returns the string representation of an object. Hashcode will give the unique ID for an object. Equals method is used for content comparison. See, automatically it is going to compare the addresses of two objects. But now you will override the method in such a way it will compare the addresses. You will compare the content of two objects by default the addresses, but if you override it, it can compare based on whatever criteria you pass it over here. Clear? So now you have to be very smart in order to decide 3 methods here. See, ToString. First is ToString method. Okay. Then comes hashcode method. Okay. Then comes equals method. Okay. So now here, what is the job of ToString method? Okay. See here. ToString method is used to give the string representation of an object. Correct? What is the job of ToString method? To give the string representation of an object. Hashcode method to give a unique ID for an object. To identify an object uniquely, it returns one number here. Equals method, it is used for content comparison. If I want to compare the contents of two objects here, I have to write it with the help of equals method. Got it? ToString, string representation, hash code unique ID, equals method content comparison. What is the access specifier of all the 3 methods? It is public. Why? All the 3 methods is public because the access specifier all the 3 methods are public because each and every methods can be accessed by everyone. So that's the reason it has given the highest level of visibility so that everyone can access it. And what is the return type of ToString? What is the return type of ToString? The name is only telling ToString. The object is getting converted to string representation. So therefore the return type is string here. What is the return type of hash code? The hash code is telling I'm returning a unique ID, unique number. So the return type is int here. And equals method, content comparison, is it equal or not, true or false? So therefore the return type is boolean. Is it difficult to remember? No, right? Access specifier is public so that everyone can access it. Return type is string, int and boolean respectively. And what is the meaning of it? I have told you. So this, you have to be strong enough in everything. You don't have a choice. So you have to be strong enough in this specific topics here. That is wherein we are supposed to understand it in a beautiful way. Clear? So we are done with basics of Java libraries here. Okay. So we understood Java libraries, the different packages, object class, and three important methods. Okay. Equals, hash code, toString. Okay. And the string class we are supposed to discuss, which is very, very important here in tomorrow's session. Okay. Before that, I have a few things which I have to talk about it now. Okay. A few days back, we did interface concept, correct? Probably before abstraction, 3 4 days back. Okay, we spoke about something called as interfaces. Okay, now here I'll ask a few interview questions. Okay, I will ask a few interview questions practically, and you are supposed to respond to it. Okay, just 5 minutes. Okay, just 5 minutes here. It's going to be really important for you here. Okay, so now here, okay, I will have an interface called as A. Okay, okay. I created a class, right? I'll just change the name to interface. Okay, I have an interface called as A. Okay, now. Wait, I'll create one more interface called as B. Wait, I create a class interface called as B here. Okay, now I will have a class called as demo. You have to answer to my question, guys. Okay, so the question is, okay, what is the question? I'll tell you here. I'll tell you, just a moment. One sec. Yeah, just a moment, guys. Okay, I'll help you out with what is the question. Okay, my question is, can one class implement multiple interfaces at a time? Yes or no? Only two answers. Can a class implement multiple interfaces? Yes or no? Very good. So a class can implement any number of interfaces. You are absolutely right. Okay. Now, very good, guys. Now, I will have an abstract method called as void m1 method, open parenthesis close, okay, and terminate using semicolon. Why shouldn't I write it as abstract over here? Why? Because in an interface, all the methods are absolutely public and abstract. Okay, it's automatically public and abstract. So it's not necessary for you to write it as public and abstract, right? Because generally, abstract method meaning it will have declaration, no implementation. And it has to be declared using abstract keyword. But the speciality in an interface is if you write a normal method in interface, it will automatically behave as public and abstract. You need not explicitly tell it over here. Similarly, I will have one more method, void m2 open parenthesis close. Done. That's it. So I have two interfaces A and B, and they have respective methods, abstract methods called as m1 and m2. Now I will tell implements, okay, A comma B. So one class is implementing multiple interfaces. So now tell me, should I override? So it's mandatory to override. No, when a class implements an interface, it means I am providing the implementation for those abstract methods. Correct. Initially, I told you when to use interface, abstract class and stuff, right? So when a class is implementing an interface, the intention is to provide the implementation, is to provide the definition for it. So now here, I need to provide the implementation for only M1 or only M2 or both. Should I override only M1 method, only M2 method or both? Common sense. I have to override both the methods here. This is your interview question. Did you get the answer for it? See, I have to override both the methods. See, when a class is implementing two interfaces, so I have to override the M1 method from A interface and M2 method from B interface. Got the clarity here? So I have to override both the methods, okay, from both the interfaces. Got it, everyone? Very good. Okay, we're done with question number 1 and we found out the solution as well. Should we override one method or two methods, or M1 method or M2 method, or both? So we got the clarity of it. Clear here? This is all about the entire data here. Okay, great. Now here, one more question. So now I will have an interface A with the method M1. I will have interface B with the method M1 here. Okay. Now here, so we have two interfaces. Okay, we have two interfaces, that is A and B, and the respective methods are M1. Now when a class implements, when a class is implementing A and B, should I override? Okay, how many times? Only once or twice? Should I override, okay, M1 method once or M1 method twice? Okay, no answers. Why? Okay, so here, see here, when I just hover on it, when I tell add unimplemented methods, I have to override only once here. I have to override only once here. Why, sir? Why should I override only once, sir? It's common sense here. Why? Because return type is same, method name is same, and the arguments are same. See, return type, method name, and the argument is same. Therefore, since both the interfaces are having the same method declarations, both the interfaces are having the same method declarations here, I have to override it only once here. See, public I have to write mandatory. Why? Because automatically in an interface it is public. So the access specifier will be public and the return type is void and the method name is M1 method. So A will assume, okay, interface A will assume it's his implementation and interface B will assume it's his implementation. Why? Because they both have the same declaration. When I try to have two methods over here, method overloading logic will go wrong. What is method overloading? In a class having multiple methods with the same name, but they should be changed in arguments here. Correct? If I try to override it twice, this method overloading rules will go for a roll. Okay, so that's the reason here when two interfaces are having the same declaration here, we are supposed to override it only once here. Why? Because A will assume it's his implementation, B will assume it's his implementation. That's it. There is no ambiguity created at all over here. Clear? So we are supposed to override it only once here. Got the clarity here? Understood? Perfect. Similarly, now, the last question for the day. Okay, see here, M1, I will write it as int, and here I will write it as string A. Now tell me, I have two interfaces, A and B. I have two methods, M1 method only. Now when a class is implementing multiple interfaces, should I override M1 method once or should I override M1 method twice? Hey, I want answers from everyone. Once or twice. That's it. Very good here. So we have to override it twice here. Sir, why are we overriding twice, sir? Because there is a change in the argument here. Method overloading. See, in a class having multiple methods with the same name but difference in arguments here. Therefore, when I try to override int a, it will assume that it's the implementation for M1 method in B interface. When it is string A, it will assume it's the implementation for M1 method in A interface. Got the clarity? Therefore, if the method declaration is same, override once. If the method declaration is different, override twice. Got the clarity here? So this is all about the entire process of understanding, okay, Java libraries, okay, how do we store objects in an array, okay, and how do we override toString hash code equals method, and a few important questions with respect to interfaces topic here. Okay, so this is all about the entire process of understanding, okay, the entire parameters here. Clear? I hope I have given the clarity about most of the important things here. Okay, so I'm just left out with a couple of days for completing libraries, guys. Okay, so I require one session for singleton class because I don't want this continuity mismatch here. Okay, singleton class I require one session, and then string class, I require one more session. So 2 sessions will be done with entire Java libraries here. Okay. Then we would be jumping into exception handling, file handling, multi-threading, and collections. So these are the 4 topics I would be left out with. Okay. Singleton class tomorrow, string class probably day after tomorrow. In 2 days, I would be done with singleton class and string class, and probably okay. Will after that we'll try to jump into exception handling, file handling, multi-threading, and collection. Then we could finally complete this entire Java here. Okay, so probably how many more days here? For exceptions, if I require 3 days. For file handling, if I require okay 1 or 2 days. Multi-threading 1 or 2 days. Collections about 7 to 8 days. So you can you can just calculate the days here. Okay, exception 3 days. File handling 1 or 2 days, depends on the time constraint. Multi-threading 1 or 2 days. Collections 7 to 8 classes, and 2 more classes with it. Okay, so you can calculate it and you will get the brief idea about it. Approximately, we'll try to start with it. Okay, so programming classes, I'm not sure, is it started for you? I believe they have started programming classes as well, right? I'm not sure of it. They haven't started? Oh my God. Okay, I'll plan a programming classes for you. Not a problem. Okay, so probably, you are supposed to attend Java, okay, aptitude, web, SQL, okay, and then programming here. Okay, so after Java here, you will slowly jump into J2W. Okay, after slowly J2W, you'll jump into frameworks here. Okay, so make sure these are the few, concepts here which are, programming language, the subjects which you're supposed to cover in the course. Java, I will complete, don't worry. You just cross check if you're done with aptitude, web, SQL, and programming classes. If not, talk to Chaitra, okay, and get it done. If you're not able to do it here, let me know. Okay, drop me a message in the WhatsApp. Okay, I'll do it for it. Once we are done with Java here, probably at least 70% of Java is done now. Okay, so you can jump into J2W because exception handling is mandatory. Once I'm done with exception handling, you can jump into J2W. Okay, for J2W, basics of web and basics of SQL are mandatory. Basics, okay? Even if you're not done with the course, you can jump into J2W. But you should know the basics of it, okay? Web and SQL, after that J2W, and finally you'll come across with frameworks, okay? So, mock guys, okay? So anyone, who's good at mock here, we are done with almost 70% now, okay? Probably by this weekend, okay? By this weekend here, you start preparing for entire Java. Whatever I'm going to complete it till this Saturday. Okay. Try to study all those concepts and let me know, sir. I want to take a mock one, sir, in order to just evaluate myself here. You let me know here. Okay. Rather than me showing interest, you all show the interest in order to get placed. Okay. So how do you show the interest? Prepare and give me mock here. Okay. Just tell me, sir, I'm preparing for from 1 week here. I want to give mock just to evaluate where I'm standing. So just take my work and tell me your feedback so that I can work on it. Okay, so you prepare on it. In order to get placed here, we have to sacrifice time, guys. Okay, so we have to dedicate time and practice it. Okay, so I'll schedule all your classes here. So make sure, okay, if you're not able to do it, we'll do it something. Okay, but make sure SQL web not done, right? I know. Okay, I'll schedule it. Everything I'll schedule as soon as possible here. Okay, so I'll talk to Chaitra, I'll talk to Keshav sir, and start scheduling your classes so that you can complete the course as soon as possible here. Okay. So great, guys. Okay, I'll talk about it. Okay, I'll talk with respect to that to my team here and get back to you. Okay. So great, guys. Okay, so we're done with the session for today. Okay, so keep on practicing. I don't want to start with a new topic because it would be continuity mismatch. Okay, that's the reason. Okay. So great, guys. Okay, so we shall wind up a session for today and catch up tomorrow. Okay. So thank you all. Take care. Bye bye. Have a nice day.